So you're trying to tell me that your snake got out in your house? Yeah, that's like the most dreaded thing that can happen to a snake keeper. So I just wanted to talk about my experiences, that's right, experiences with snakes getting out in the house. And big shout out to Segundo Pythons. They've been cranking out some YouTube videos, so you all get over there and check them out. Inspiration, let's say, to do the video because of Royal Canvas Exotics' recent video he just posted, Harrison, about a snake getting out and kind of, everything he went through. So it just kind of felt like I would give some of my stories because it is a mistake. I feel like it's a mistake that's not often talked about, but they do happen. So yeah, I was just gonna do my experience, how I found the snakes. I have found every single snake. And then, I don't know, just kind of segue into that. But what I will say really quick is, oh my word, I have finally stepped up my lighting game. I don't know if there is going to really show that big of a difference to anybody in here, but it's something that has always annoyed me so much about this room is my lighting has always been so terrible. And I was trying to, do that. But here we go. We got the new lighting game. So we got one light, two light, three light, and then we got, what is this? We got that Triple B shirt there in the center of the snake room here. It's actually the only artwork I have in here. I'm gonna consider my Triple B t-shirt art right now. So that's for you, Brian Cusco. But yeah, anyways, let's jump into it. That I can just go off of my experiences and things that I've done to try to find said lost snakes. But I guess through that will be my form of nostalgia, and I'll give you some stories about how I've lost snakes in the past. And so, first one, when I very first kind of started keeping ball pythons, it was probably back in like 2009, 2010. I had my first clutch there soon after, but I was using a homemade rack system, basically. And by homemade, I mean I made it, and by I made it is I didn't make it great. So it was on some plywood, there was, small gaps, blah, 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 I don't know, it wasn't that good. But I had a clutch, clutch hatched out, and the top was my baby, my baby rack. With the babies being on that top rack, there was like a little bit of a gap, but I really didn't think the snakes could get out. And at the time, what I was doing is I was housing, it was still that period where all of the babies were still in the same tub, just before they kind of shed and stuff like that. Like, I like to keep all my babies together, and when I say my babies, the snakes hatched here, I should say. I like to keep them all together until they shed. So they were all together, and so there's like 7 or 8 of them in there, and one had gotten out, and I didn't even realize it. And so I don't know when it had gotten out. I mean, the last time I had checked that particular tub was like the day before, and so it might have gotten out. I don't know. It could have been out for like 24 hours, but it got out. And it went far enough that it went into my bathroom at the time and crawled up the sink and knocked down, I had all like my vitamins and stuff like that, like across my sink, knocked down all of my pill bottles into my sink. And then, went on its merry way. And when I got home, I was so confused why all of my pill bottles were laying in the sink. I was just like, what is going on right now? So anyways, I guess long story short, I ended up checking all the tubs, realizing that a baby snake was out, and then that whole sinking feeling where you're just like, oh no, like I just lost a snake. Like, that's the worst feeling. And then it also solidifies all the comments that you get when you breed snakes. Usually I get this first comment, are they all just like loose in your house? No, why would they just be loose in the house? Why is that the first question? I don't know. Anyways, I digress. But I would also make them right, because now there's snakes actually loose in my house. I guess here's the advice section. First and foremost, just try to calm yourself down, because you're gonna find it. You're gonna find it, because you're not gonna quit, obviously. You're just gonna find it, you know? And so what I do is I just start looking in the smallest places I can find, because it is unreal where these animals can fit in. Like the spaces that they can fit in is so small, so much smaller than you would ever think. And so that's usually the first place I check. I check the tiniest, tightest passageways for them to get through, and that's my number one spot. Because to further on the story and just prove how, you know, harebrained I am, I guess, I had another snake get out. I built a homemade terrarium, and they figured out, this ball python figured out how to push the glass over, which is insane because it was hard for me to move the glass. I didn't even comprehend that snake could have done that. Yeah, pushed it over, and I found him in between the drawers of my desk that was in there. He was wedged in between like the running of the desk. So it's insane where they can go. So no stone left unturned is basically my first advice. And then my second advice is, a lot of times they're just gonna show up. It's gonna blow your mind, and they're just gonna show up. I had one missing for 4 days, and it just showed up. I just saw it. It just showed up. It was crazy. So I guess, you know, the holistic part of all of this is make sure your snakes can't get out of their enclosures. Make sure that you're always coming by here, you know, if you're doing the tub thing, and you're pushing all those in every day, you know, check, recheck, because that's another silly way that they can get out. It's just leaving that tub just barely open. They can just come on out, and then, you know, go to pull that tub and the snake's not there. Or actually what it is you come walking in here, and then you see that tiny, tiny little crack, and you know that snake's gone. And that's another killer experience. And that's been my 3 experiences right there. Homemade, irresponsibility, ignorance, not paying attention, I don't know. Left that crack open like that. Whew, that sucks. That's one of the worst feelings in this hobby. That's a bad one when you know your snake's gone. And when you know it's your fault. It's like, it's a twofer, you know. But yeah, I guess my point is don't lose hope, because I have faith that, you know, just diligent searching, diligent searching, and then having faith that, you know, you're gonna keep looking for it, and eventually it's just gonna, you know, hopefully pop up. And, you know, that might be a lot different for smaller species of snakes. You know, these snakes, you know, like a king snake, some of the corn snakes and their babies, they are going to be substantially harder to find. That's, you know, that's a little different than, you know, these snakes, they can't get through like vents, I guess, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess just keep your faith, right? Keep your faith, find those snakes. But anyways, I just want to thank everybody for showing up today. If this is your first time here and then you happen to like what you have heard in my diligent rambling, jump down there and hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. And additional to that is Adam from Beach Bum Exotics and I have moved our live stream interviews to a separate channel called Reptiles Unplugged. I'm gonna throw links around in the description and what have yous, basically to everybody. Segundo Pythons, Harrison, obviously, thank you for the inspiration for the video, and myself, but also Adam, to Reptiles Unplugged. So if you want to jump over there and subscribe to there, we are going live this Wednesday, and it will be our first time live on the Reptile Unplugged thing. So anyways, yeah, thanks so much everybody for tuning in. I hope you're all having a great morning, evening, or night. And there's an afternoon, I think. Also, I hope you're having a good afternoon. But anyways, we'll see y'all later.